Welcome to Sec 1, Geography, Protecting Rainforests, Management Strategies. Video 13 established the problem, the causes, the effects, the feedback loop, the tipping point. This video answers the question students always ask when they finish learning about deforestation, so what can actually be done about it? We are going to look at 4 management strategies, 2 real case studies, and the exam question that ties it all together. A 6-mark evaluation that asks you to judge how effective these strategies have been. Not just describe them, judge them. That is the skill this video builds. Let us frame what we are doing today against what we learned in video 13. 10 million hectares of tropical forest lost every year. 4 causes: commercial logging, agricultural expansion, mining, and settlement and infrastructure. 5 effects including biodiversity loss, water cycle disruption, soil erosion, carbon release, and displacement of indigenous peoples. A feedback loop that accelerates deforestation. The Amazon approaching a critical tipping point. The question this video answers: what can be done? The answer comes in 4 strategies. Selective logging with FSC certification, national parks and protected areas, REDD+ as an international financial mechanism, and large-scale international conservation initiatives. We will assess each one honestly, strengths and limitations both. 3 mistakes that cost students marks on this topic. Mistake 1, naming a strategy without explaining its mechanism. National parks protect forests, scores nothing. The examiner wants to know how: forests legally designated, destructive activities prohibited, rangers patrol and enforce the boundaries. Mechanism over name, always. Mistake 2, missing the 3rd mark on the REDD+ question. Most students can describe the payment. Developed countries pay tropical nations. Fewer can explain the verification mechanism, satellite monitoring that ties payment to actual, measured reductions in deforestation, not promises. That is the 3rd mark, and it is the most commonly missed. Mistake 3, no final judgment on the 6-mark evaluation question. The question explicitly asks you to reach one. Without it, the 6th mark is impossible. Here is what the exam asks. WAQ1 2 marks. Explain how selective logging differs from clear-cutting. WAQ2 3 marks. Explain how REDD+ works to protect tropical rainforests. WAQ3 1 mark. State one limitation of national parks as a management strategy. Final exam 6 marks. Evaluate how effective management strategies have been in protecting tropical rainforests and reach a final judgment. 12 marks in total on this topic. Today's roadmap: Chapter 1, Selective Logging and FSC. Chapter 2, National Parks. Chapter 3, REDD+ and the Amazon Fund, Practice. Pause 1 for WAQ2. Chapter 4, Heart of Borneo. The Evaluation Framework. Practice. Pause 2 for the final exam question. Chapter 1, Selective Logging and FSC Certification. How to extract timber from a forest without destroying the forest in the process. WAQ1 asks you to contrast selective logging with clear-cutting. Here is the contrast. Clear-cutting, Mark 1. All trees in an area are removed in a single operation. The forest ecosystem is completely destroyed. The canopy is gone, which means the nutrient cycle breaks, exactly as we described in video 11. The soil is exposed, which means erosion begins, exactly as we described in video 13. All habitat is lost, which means biodiversity collapses. This is the standard practice in commercial deforestation. Selective logging, Mark 2, only specific, mature trees of commercial value above a minimum size threshold are cut. The remaining trees, understory vegetation, and canopy are left intact. The canopy partially remains, so the nutrient cycle continues. The soil is still largely protected from direct rainfall. Most habitat is preserved, so most species are unaffected. And because gaps are created rather than total clearance, the forest can regenerate over time. The key difference: most of the forest stays. Most of the functions continue. Selective logging works better than clear-cutting, but saying so is only one part of the picture. The quality assurance mechanism that makes selective logging genuinely sustainable is FSC certification, which stands for the Forest Stewardship Council, established in 1993. The FSC sets international standards for sustainable forest management. Forests that meet those standards are certified and can display the FSC label on their timber products. Here is why the FSC label matters. When a consumer or buyer chooses FSC-certified timber, that timber commands a higher price in the market. That higher price goes to the forest owner. The forest owner then has a financial reason, not just a moral one, to manage the forest sustainably and pursue certification rather than clear-cutting and selling to the highest bidder regardless of method. Some governments, including Germany and the Netherlands, require FSC-certified timber in all public procurement, amplifying the market signal. The FSC works through the market. It makes sustainability profitable. And without an auditing mechanism like the FSC, the label selective logging can be claimed by anyone. The certification is what makes the claim credible. Let us be honest about selective logging's strengths and limitations. On the strength side, it is economically viable. Forest owners earn income without clear cutting, so there is a practical reason to choose it. It is ecologically preferable. Most forest functions remain. Biodiversity is largely preserved. The FSC creates a genuine market incentive through consumer demand, and it is scalable, applicable across large areas of commercially managed forest worldwide. On the limitations side, it still involves tree removal and road building. Some disturbance is unavoidable. Without FSC auditing, operators can claim to be selective while removing far more than is sustainable. And critically, selective logging only addresses the timber industry. It does nothing about agricultural expansion, mining, or settlement, which are the largest causes of deforestation we identified in Video 13. A strategy that solves one of the smaller causes, while the bigger causes continue, is not sufficient on its own. Chapter 2: National Parks and Protected Areas, the strongest legal protection available, in principle. How national parks work. A government designates a specific area of land as a national park or nature reserve. Within the park boundaries, commercial logging is prohibited. Agricultural clearing is prohibited, mining is prohibited or tightly restricted. Settlements are generally prohibited. Rangers patrol and enforce these rules. What is permitted? Ecotourism, where visitors pay to experience the forest, a revenue stream that can fund the park itself. Scientific research. In some cases, limited subsistence use by indigenous communities who were already living there. The reason national park status is the strongest form of protection is that it is a legal designation. The forest cannot be legally sold, leased, or converted without the government changing the law. The boundary creates a definite, permanent zone. Inside the park, destruction is illegal. Named examples include Kinabalu National Park in Malaysia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and Tanjung Puting National Park in Borneo, home to significant orang-utan populations. The strengths of national parks are real. First, legal protection. Once designated, the forest inside the boundary cannot be cut down or converted without a change in law. That is the strongest direct protection available. Second, parks can be placed strategically over the most biodiverse, ecologically critical areas, protecting the places that matter most. Third, ecotourism generates ongoing revenue. Visitors pay entry fees and tour costs. That money funds rangers, equipment, and park management. The forest earns money while it is standing. Fourth, international recognition such as UNESCO World Heritage status brings additional funding and global attention, which creates political pressure on governments to maintain protection. These are genuine and substantial strengths. But national parks also have significant limitations, and WAQ3 asks you to state one specifically. Here are 4 valid answers, any one of which earns the mark if you explain the mechanism. First, enforcement fails in remote areas. Vast, remote forests are impossible to patrol fully with limited government budgets. Illegal logging and poaching continue inside park boundaries. Second, parks can displace indigenous communities. They often criminalize the subsistence activities of communities who have lived in and managed the forest for generations. This creates conflict and reduces local support for conservation, which is counterproductive. Third, the boundary problem. Parks protect specific patches. Deforestation continues immediately outside. Edge effects, drying, increased fire spread, habitat fragmentation, degrade the forest even inside the park over time. Fourth, parks do not change economic drivers. A park boundary does not reduce the profit motive to clear forest for cattle or palm oil. Pressure on the boundary continues to grow. And fifth, worth mentioning for the final exam, park boundaries can be reduced by future governments. Brazil has done this in existing Amazon reserves. Chapter 3. REDD+, Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation. A fundamentally different approach from national parks. Instead of creating prohibited zones, REDD+ tries to change the economic conditions that make deforestation profitable in the first place. WAQ2 asks how REDD+ works. 3 marks, 3 mechanisms. Mark 1. REDD+ is a United Nations mechanism that provides financial incentives for tropical forest countries to reduce deforestation. Standing forests absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, a global service because the carbon they absorb is climate change mitigation that benefits every country on Earth. REDD+ pays countries for providing that service. Mark 2. The payment mechanism. Developed countries, which have historically emitted the most greenhouse gases through fossil fuel use, make direct financial payments to tropical forest nations in exchange for keeping their forests standing and absorbing COPO. The logic: countries that cause the climate problem pay countries that hold one of the solutions. Mark 3, the one most students miss, the verification mechanism. Payments are not made on promises. They are tied to verified, satellite-measured reductions in deforestation. If a country says it reduced deforestation, but satellite data shows otherwise, it does not receive payment. Money follows results, not intentions. That accountability is what makes REDD+ fundamentally different from development aid. The Amazon Fund is the flagship example of REDD+ in action. Established in 2008, it is an international financial mechanism to fund the protection and sustainable management of the Amazon. The primary donors are Norway and Germany. Funds are received by Brazil's National Development Bank, known as BNDES, which distributes the money as grants to projects covering, monitoring, and enforcement of deforestation, sustainable agriculture that does not require new forest clearing, protecting indigenous land rights, and environmental research. The accountability system is the key. Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, INPE, uses satellite imagery to measure Amazon deforestation rates annually. Norway and Germany tie their donation amounts directly to the measured reduction. Deforestation rises, donations fall. Deforestation falls, donations increase. By the time the fund had been operating for 10 years, it had received over $1.28 billion and had funded more than 100 projects across the Amazon. The Amazon Fund's outcomes are the most important evidence you have for the final exam evaluation question. Between 2004 and 2012, Brazil reduced Amazon deforestation by approximately 70%, from a peak of 27,000 square kilometers per year in 2004 down to approximately 4,600 square kilometers per year by 2012. That is the most dramatic recorded reduction in tropical deforestation in history. REDD+ payments were a significant factor. This is your evidence of effectiveness. But the limitation is equally important evidence. In 2019, Brazil's Bolsonaro government weakened environmental enforcement. Deforestation rose sharply. Norway and Germany suspended the Amazon Fund. The 70% reduction that took 8 years to achieve began to be reversed in a fraction of that time. The fund was reinstated in 2023 after a change of government committed to zero deforestation by 2030. What this proves, REDD+ works, and effectiveness depends entirely on sustained political will. Use both halves in your evaluation, the success and the reversal. Practice. Pause 1. Pause the video now. WAQ2, 3 marks. explain how REDD Plus works to protect tropical rainforests. 3 marks means 3 separate mechanisms. Right mark 1, the financial incentive and carbon sink concept. Right mark 2, who pays whom and for what. Right mark 3, how results are verified and how the accountability mechanism ensures payments match real reductions in deforestation. When you have written your complete 3-part answer, unpause for the model answer. Model answer for WAQ2. Mark 1, REDD Plus, is an international mechanism that provides financial incentives for tropical forest countries to reduce deforestation by recognizing their forests as carbon sinks that absorb CO2 and benefit the entire planet. Mark 2, developed countries, which have historically produced the most greenhouse gas emissions, make payments to tropical forest nations in exchange for keeping their forests standing and absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Mark 3, the amount paid is linked to measurable reductions in deforestation rates. Verified using satellite imagery, so payments are tied to actual outcomes rather than promises, creating accountability and ensuring forests are genuinely protected. Check yours now. Is REDD Plus described as a financial incentive mechanism, not just an aid scheme? Is the payment direction clear? Developed countries paying tropical nations? Is the satellite verification and results-based payment explicitly stated for the 3rd mark? If not, those are the elements to add. Chapter 4. International Conservation Initiatives. And specifically, the Heart of Borneo, which represents a different approach from anything we have covered so far. The Heart of Borneo initiative was signed in 2007 by the 3 governments that share the island of Borneo, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. It protects and sustainably manages approximately 220,000 square kilometers of forest in the island's interior, an area roughly the size of the United Kingdom. Before explaining how it works, it is worth understanding why a single-country approach cannot solve the problem here. Borneo's rainforest crosses 3 national borders. If Indonesia protects its side strictly but Malaysia does not, deforestation simply moves across the border into the Malaysian sector. The forest is one ecosystem. Its protection requires coordinated action. The Heart of Borneo operates through 5 components: designated protected areas in the core zone, where logging and clearing are prohibited; sustainable resource use buffer zones around the core, where limited, certified activities are permitted; joint transboundary patrol across all 3 countries' borders; recognition of Dayak, indigenous community land rights with sustainable livelihood support; and partnerships with international NGOs, including WWF for funding and expertise. The region contains over 6,000 plant species and 700 tree species and is home to the Bornean orang-utan, pygmy elephant, and clouded leopard. The Heart of Borneo's strengths are significant. The scale of protection, 220,000 square kilometers, makes it one of the largest rainforest conservation zones in the world. The transboundary approach is its key structural innovation. Coordinating across Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei prevents deforestation from playing the jurisdiction game, moving to whichever country enforces least strictly. The sustainable use buffer zones are realistic. They do not impose an all-or-nothing prohibition that communities who depend on forest resources cannot comply with. The recognition of Dayak indigenous land rights integrates local knowledge and builds community support for conservation rather than opposition to it. And new species continue to be discovered within the protected area, confirming the ecological integrity of what is being preserved. However, the limitations are also real. Deforestation continues in areas immediately outside the protected core. The core is an island in a sea of converted land. Enforcement across 220,000 square kilometers of remote, mountainous terrain with limited government budgets is extremely difficult, and illegal logging remains significant in the Indonesian sector. And critically, global demand for palm oil, the primary driver of Borneo's wider deforestation, is entirely unaddressed by the initiative. Let us compare the Amazon Fund and the Heart of Borneo side by side, because both will appear in your final exam answer. The Amazon Fund was established in 2008, the Heart of Borneo signed in 2007. The Amazon Fund works through financial incentives, the REDD Plus mechanism. The Heart of Borneo works through protected area designation and land use planning. The Amazon Fund's key evidence of success is the 70% reduction in Amazon deforestation between 2004 and 2012. The Heart of Borneo's key evidence is 220,000 square kilometers protected, new species discovered, orang-utan habitat corridors maintained. The Amazon Fund's key limitation is political dependence. It was suspended in 2019 when government changed. The Heart of Borneo's key limitation is that palm oil demand drives deforestation across the rest of Borneo beyond the protected zone. What they share, both operate at large scale. Both require international cooperation. Both produce measurable outcomes. And neither addresses the global commodity demand that drives deforestation in the first place. Here is the evaluation framework that makes the 6-mark question manageable. Think of management strategies in 3 tiers. Tier 1, treating symptoms. Strategies that reduce deforestation in a specific place for a time without changing the underlying incentive. National parks are the clearest example. They make clearing illegal inside a boundary, but deforestation pressure continues everywhere else, and the economic incentive to clear has not changed. Tier 2, structural change. Strategies that change the economic conditions that make deforestation profitable. REDD+ makes standing forest financially valuable. It pays countries more to keep the forest than they would earn by clearing it. FSC creates a market premium for sustainable timber. The Heart of Borneo's transboundary coordination changes the conditions under which individual actors can exploit weaker enforcement. These are more effective, but they only work while the conditions are maintained: payments, political will, market demand for certified products. Tier 3, root cause. Addressing the global commodity demand for beef, soya, and palm oil, that makes clearing forest profitable in the first place. This would require binding international trade standards, dramatic changes in consumer behavior, and economic development pathways for tropical countries that do not require forest conversion. No current strategy fully achieves Tier 3. That honest limitation is what your final judgment should acknowledge. Practice. Pause 2. Pause the video now. Final exam, 6 marks, using named examples. Evaluate how effective management strategies have been in protecting tropical rainforests. Reach a final judgment. Your answer must include at least 2 named management strategies for Mark 1, a strength with specific evidence for Mark 2, a further strength or developed point for Mark 3, a limitation with reasoning for Mark 4, a further limitation addressing the root cause gap for Mark 5, and a final, reasoned judgment for Mark 6. Use the Amazon Fund, the Heart of Borneo, the 70% reduction figure, the 220,000 square kilometers figure, the 2019 suspension, and the palm oil demand problem. Write your full answer now before you unpause. Here is the annotated model answer for the final exam, mark by mark. Mark 1. The Amazon Fund, established in 2008, uses financial payments from Norway and Germany to fund verified deforestation reduction in Brazil. The Heart of Borneo initiative, signed in 2007, designates 220,000 square kilometers of Borneo's interior as a protected and sustainably managed zone across 3 countries. Mark 2, Brazil reduced Amazon deforestation by approximately 70% between 2004 and 2012, the most dramatic recorded reduction in tropical deforestation ever. Mark 3, the Heart of Borneo's transboundary approach is a particular strength, joint coordination across Indonesia. Malaysia and Brunei prevents deforestation from moving across borders when one country enforces more strictly. Mark 4, however, the Amazon Fund was suspended in 2019 when Brazil's government weakened enforcement, causing deforestation to rise sharply, proving that effectiveness depends entirely on sustained political will. Mark 5, neither strategy addresses the global demand for palm oil and beef that drives deforestation in the first place. Without changing the economic incentive at its source, all strategies remain vulnerable to reversal. Mark 6. Overall, management strategies have demonstrated that protecting rainforests is achievable. The 70% reduction proves it. But lasting success requires political commitment, international funding, and action on the commodity demand that makes clearing profitable. Here is your strengths reference table to use when you are revising. Selective logging with FSC, economically viable and ecologically preferable to clear cutting. FSC creates market demand for sustainable timber, scalable. National parks, strongest legal protection available, can target the most biodiverse areas. Ecotourism revenue makes them financially self-sustaining. World Heritage status brings international support. REDD Plush through the Amazon Fund addresses the economic incentive directly. Satellite accountability makes payments credible. Demonstrated real-world results. 70% reduction in Brazil between 2004 and 2012. Heart of Borneo, large-scale protection of 220,000 square kilometers. Transboundary coordination prevents the jurisdiction game. Indigenous rights recognized. New species continue to be discovered. And to classify, national parks are Tier 1, treating symptoms. REDD+, FSC, and Heart of Borneo are all Tier 2, structural change. Tier 3, the root cause, remains unachieved by any current strategy. And here is the limitations reference table. Selective logging only addresses the timber sector. Agricultural expansion and mining, the bigger causes, are untouched. Rotation periods often too short. Without FSC auditing, the selective label can be abused. National parks, enforcement fails in remote areas, displaces indigenous communities. Boundary problem, deforestation continues outside, does not change the economic incentive to clear. REDD+ and the Amazon Fund, political dependence. The 2019 suspension and subsequent deforestation rise proves that payments alone cannot protect forests if the host government does not enforce. Donor country politics can also change. Heart of Borneo, deforestation continues immediately outside the core. Illegal logging persists in the Indonesian sector, global palm oil demand. The primary driver of Borneo's wider deforestation is entirely unaddressed. And the shared limitation that applies to all four, none of them addresses global commodity demand. That is the Tier 3 problem that no current strategy solves. Let us be direct about the root cause gap. The reason forests are cleared is that cleared forest is profitable. 1 hectare of cleared Amazon land converted to cattle pasture or soya plantation generates more income than 1 hectare of standing forest in most contexts. What management strategies do? National parks make clearing illegal in one designated area. REDD+ pays countries to keep forests standing, closing part of that profitability gap. FSC creates a market premium for sustainable timber. The Heart of Borneo coordinates protection across borders. What management strategies do not do: change the global demand for beef, soya, and palm oil. Create conditions where forest conservation is consistently more profitable than clearing, everywhere for all actors. Establish binding international trade standards that exclude products linked to deforestation. What would be needed, and what is beginning to emerge in some countries, are import regulations that require deforestation-free supply chains. Some progress is being made, but it is not yet sufficient to close the root cause gap. This is why your final judgment should always acknowledge that current strategies are effective but insufficient in isolation. That is not pessimism, it is geography. 4 mistakes fixed, and 5 things to remember. Mistakes: first, name without mechanism. Always explain how the strategy works. Second, missing REDD+ mark. 3. Satellite monitoring verifies deforestation reduction. Payment is tied to actual results, not promises. Third, vague limitation for national parks. Pick one specific reason with a mechanism. Enforcement fails in remote areas, displaces indigenous communities, boundary problem, or doesn't change the economics. Fourth, no final judgment. Always end your 6-mark answer with a clear position and a reason. 5 things to remember. 1. Selective logging leaves most forest intact. Clear cutting removes everything. FSC makes sustainability market viable. 2. FSC works through consumer demand, creating a price premium for certified timber. 3. REDD+ equals financial incentive plus payment mechanism plus satellite verification. 4. Amazon Fund, 70% reduction, 2004 to 2012, reversed 2019, reinstated 2023. 5. Heart of Borneo, 220,000 square kilometers, 3 countries, 2007. Palm oil demand is the unresolved root problem. What to do next? Step 1. Download the free learning pack. It has the viewing guide, exit ticket, 2 case study cards for the Amazon Fund and the Heart of Borneo, the evaluation worksheet, the WA practice set, and the final exam practice question. Step 2. Complete the evaluation worksheet. It takes you through describing each strategy, giving a strength with explanation, a limitation with explanation, a comparison table, and a judgment. The final question asks you to suggest a strategy that tackles the demand side, the Tier 3 problem. Step 3. Attempt the final exam practice question under timed conditions. 15 minutes, 6 marks, no notes. Name 2 strategies, give strengths with evidence, limitations, the root cause gap, and your final judgment. Step 4. Use the 6 checkpoint self-review checklist on the last page to mark your own answer. Step 5. Watch video 15. Introduction to mangroves. A completely different coastal ecosystem, equally important, equally threatened, and equally likely to appear in your exam.